if you sow a seed of success in subconscious, you lead a life of success. If you live in a bungalow and you are the owner, so you would live inside the bungalow. But the one who's taking care of the security of the bungalow, he'll be outside the bungalow, he'll be at the door. Your conscious mind is like that door, that security person. And the real person, the owner, lives inside. So the real thing in the system is your subconscious mind. That is inside. What is at the periphery is your conscious mind, your intellect. And generally we call it mind. You must have seen sometimes, those of you drive, you're driving a car and you reach to your destination, then you get surprised that how did it happen? You were not at all conscious and you kept on driving, you did not break any traffic rules and you reached to your destination. That was your subconscious which was driving the car. Similarly, your life is driven by your subconscious and you don't know. You don't know that your life is driven by your subconscious. We understand that iceberg. We saw that movie Titanic. Iceberg we understand. Now what is visible to us, what was visible to the captain of the ship in Titanic was only that 10% of the glacier. And what did he think? That the ship would hit it and break it. And we all know what happened to that ship. Because the 90% is not visible. And that is also true for us. Same holds true for us. What is visible is only 10%. 90% is invisible. 10% is explicit. 90% is inexplicit. You see a horse and you see a rider. Who has more strength? Obviously, the horse. Horse has 90% of the strength and the rider has only 10% of the strength. But the good news is, rider can control the horse. Though horse is very strong, if a rider does not know how to manage or control the horse, can he reach to his journey? Can he reach to his destination? No, he cannot. So your conscious mind is only 10%. Unconscious mind is like that horse, which is very powerful, 9 times more powerful. If your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, they are aligned, they are synced, then you become very powerful. Your strength is tenfold. Otherwise, you're working with your 10% strength. And that 10% strength is overpowered by 90%. So you cannot achieve anything in life. For instance, you decided, I will not get angry. Excellent. Wonderful resolution. I will not get angry. You can also make a resolution. I will not eat sweets. I will not consume alcohol. I will not smoke. And such like resolutions you can make. But what happens is, again you get angry. Again you start eating sweets. You want to lose weight. You decide today, I won't eat 3 meals, I'll only eat 2 meals. But somehow it doesn't work out. Why so it happens? Because the resolution is in the conscious mind. Only your conscious mind knows what have you decided. And conscious mind is a logical mind. Conscious mind has been created by your school, by your college, by internet, by your friends, by your environment. And who creates your subconscious mind is a question. Your past life is responsible for your subconscious mind. Then those 9 months when you were in mother's womb, very vital for your subconscious mind, very vital. Those nine months, take 2 kinds of mother. One mother who was vegetarian and who was listening to classical music and who was very disciplined, sleep early, wake up early, and such like things. The other mother could eat anything, could smoke, drink, whatever, went for violent movies. So the 2 children will be different because their subconscious was formed in those 9 months. Your subconscious was formed in those 9 months. That's why you would find old ladies at home would tell a pregnant mother, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And they are so right. They're so right. Because whatever you would do for those 9 months, your child will have to suffer all his life for that, for all those 9 months of mistakes you do. Then, so one is the past life, second is 9 months in the mother's womb, and thirdly, 9 years, first 9 years. So your primary school teachers are very important to make your subconscious mind. That lower KG, KG, those teachers are very important teachers. They create your subconscious mind. Your parents create your subconscious mind. The mother who sings lullaby, through that lullaby, they put seeds in the subconscious mind. Past life, 9 months in the womb, and first 9 years. This has already formed your subconscious mind. Now, rest of the life, whatever you are doing, is only for the conscious mind. You go to college, what do you learn? You learn languages, you learn English, you learn mathematics, you learn so many things you learn. And those are useful things. It's not that those are not useful. You learn language and it helps you in life. You learn mathematics, it helps you in life. You learn science, you learn that. But life does not run on that knowledge. Your life does not follow whatever you learn in your school, college, high school, tertiary education. Life follows only subconscious. It will help you in your job. If you're an MBA, yes, it will get you a good job. Many things. I mean, everything happens in life because of whatever you study, whatever you learn. But whether you'll remain happy or not happy will not depend on that, on your school education or on any other book you have read. It won't depend on that. That will depend solely on that subconscious. For instance, you don't want to be angry. Now, but at the hit of the moment, what happens? You get angry. Why it happens? You read a book, How to Control Your Anger. Now, the 10% of the mind has read that book. That mind has understood. So your conscious mind now is prepared, okay, I should not get angry. How to lose weight in 10 days. The conscious mind is already, okay, I will not eat food anymore. Very good. But that subconscious mind, he doesn't even know what did you do. And he's not in sync. For instance, you studied mathematics. Whatever you studied, you can utilize in life. Why? Because subconscious does not interfere. Subconscious does not have anything related to mathematics. Subconscious does not have anything related to literature. So it doesn't bother. Whatever you studied in school will help you. But anything you studied on anger will not help you. Anything you studied on obesity will not help you. So there, subconscious rules. No matter how many books you read on how to lose weight, it will not help you. No matter how many books you read on how to control your anger, it will not help you. Because the anger does not, the book stays in your mind. And mind doesn't get angry. It's not your conscious mind which gets angry. The one who gets angry does not even know about the book. So you are teaching somebody something who's not going to utilize it. Things like love, anger, all these things reside in subconscious. All your life you teach good things to your child. You don't teach him how to be angry, but he learns, he knows. You don't teach him many things in life, but he knows everything. And whatever you taught him doesn't work. Because 90% is very powerful. Horse is more powerful than a human being. That 90% will prevail all the time. You have a computer at home. It works on the operating system, on the software. You upgrade your computer and the software remains same. What will happen? Nothing. Same old things will happen. Only the look of the computer will improve. That's all. But the software is same. Nothing has changed. So if you want to improve your computer, what do? You change the software. Similarly, within us also, we also have to do the same. Reprogram your subconscious. And subconscious is reprogrammable. Let us take an example. If there are two persons, one has 90% negative thoughts in him and only 10% positive thoughts. And this is because of his past life. Let us take this. Let us assume like this, that he is negative because of his past life karma. 90% of the negative ideas only come to his mind all the time. Oh, nothing is going to happen. Oh, everything is very expensive. Oh, Corona will not go away. Everything negative. No point trying. I will not get job. Everything negative. 90% negative thoughts are coming all the time. Even if I take this medicine, nothing will happen. All the time you are negative, negative, negative. So, which is okay. You have got it from your past life, for instance, and 10% positive. There is another person who's got 10% negative and 90% positive. Now tell me, who will succeed in life? Who will succeed in life? You would say that the one who has got 90% positive and 10% negative thoughts, he will succeed in life. No, the answer is not right. Here comes the role of subconscious mind. The answer is not right. Because the thoughts are coming. Every moment, negative thoughts are coming. Positive thoughts are coming. Negative, negative, negative. Positive, positive, positive. You have the power to choose. You are getting, because of your past life karma, you only have 10% of positive thoughts in your life and 90% thoughts are negative. But you have chosen to align only with the positive thoughts all the time. You will be more successful in life. You are playing bridge. Some of you know how to play bridge. If you get a very good hand, you get good cards, you will win. You may not win. Somebody who's a better player can win. Even if you got better cards, the other person may win because he's a better player. So how good a player you are in life will matter. So all the time you cannot blame, oh, my past life karma, that's why, I can't become like him. I can't become like him. No, you cannot. That's absolutely wrong. There are many ways to change your subconscious. We'll come to it. Assume this body to be a 7-story building. For the time being, let us assume this body to be a 7-story building. And your conscious mind resides on the 5th floor. Remember this. Your conscious mind resides on 5th floor. Santosh also lives on 5th floor, by the way. So your conscious mind, consciousness has levels. So consciousness resides on the 5th floor. That means 5th center in the body is throat, anahat. And the center is considered in the spinal cord. The button is here, but it is located behind the throat. So your mind is the consciousness when it is, if you want to make your mind more powerful, for instance, you want to listen to me, you are listening with your conscious mind only. You're not listening with your subconscious, which you cannot, of course. There are ways, of course. In Yoga Nidra, you can listen with subconscious mind. The same lecture you can listen in Yoga Nidra with subconscious mind. But right now, we learn everything in life through conscious mind only. If you keep your awareness right now behind your neck, right now when you're sitting, sit straight and listen to me, whatever I'm talking, keep your awareness, take your awareness behind the neck. Immediately you will realize that you have started understanding more. Suddenly you will realize that, oh, you're understanding more. Your conscious mind has become more powerful. So if your awareness is behind the neck, then your consciousness is at the level of mind. Is at the level of mind. Subconscious mind resides in the heart. One level below, on the 4th floor. So when you hear somebody, you hear from here, from your ears, and it goes down. So everything is processed by your mind, by your conscious mind. There is one thing very interesting. Sometimes you would see some parents, they would say same thing every day to the child. Almost the same thing they will say. Don't do this. Child may not follow the instruction, but still the mother would say the same thing. Don't do this. Every day she will say the same thing, same thing, same thing. What happens is child stops listening because you keep repeating, and that's the nature. If your teacher in the classroom says the same thing again and again, you stop listening. Your mind does not absorb that. Your conscious mind rejects. Oh my God, he's repetitive. Every day, same thing. Every day, same thing. My boss is so boring. Every day, same thing. Very nice. But what happens is very interesting. Your conscious mind rejects. He doesn't want to listen. 2 times, 3 times, after that, it stops listening. Then it starts going into subconscious. The same message starts going into the subconscious. So when it starts going to subconscious, still it is repeating. The fellow is repeating. What happens? Even subconscious starts rejecting. Oh, it's too much. So then it starts even going deep down. So deeper it goes into your subconscious, stronger that idea becomes. That's why we have this concept of mantra recitation. Keep reciting, keep reciting, keep reciting, keep reciting, keep reciting. What happens? It goes into your subconscious. Otherwise, what is the point of saying Om Namah Shivaya 108 times? You just say one time, it is good enough. Om Namah Shivaya, that's all. God is understood. No, you keep repeating, keep repeating, keep repeating. Any affirmation, when you keep repeating, then it starts going to your subconscious. And there are ways to, we'll discuss it. How do you repeat your affirmations? This is called hammering. This is called hammering. Let's put it in a different way. If you have a relative, you go to his house for a birthday party and you tell your relative, oh my God, what has happened? Oh, you look so weak. Okay, you tell your relative, my God, what happened to your skin? You look so dull, you look so weak. The person says, no, I'm okay, I'm perfect, I'm okay. Fine. Another relative comes, he says, oh my God, what's wrong with your skin? It was so glowing earlier, now what is wrong? Nisha is laughing, it is often done, ladies. And so, what's wrong with you? Fine, okay. Now this person is confused. What is happening? Second guest also told me, I'm looking weak, my skin is dull. Very good. God forbid, one more guest says, while going back, party is over and they say, that I want to tell you one thing, huh? Don't mind, huh? So please, your skin looks very dull. Huh? And you look very weak. Trust me, that person will believe this now. Because this message has now gone to subconscious. Straight to subconscious. I know of a person in my college. That fellow was quite fat, quite hefty, must be about 120 kilos or so in those days. We were 60, 70 and he was about 110, 120. So we used to always call him, hey Motu, hey Motu. And I mean that his name became, we forgot his real name. I mean, we did not even know, after a few months, we did not even know his real name. So, hey Motu aa gaya, Motu aa gaya. Hey Motu. So this is how we used to call. And in our college, what happened is, our college had just become a co-ed college. A young girl came one day and she also said, hey Motu, sunto. That's all she told him. Nothing wrong. We used to call him 100 times, Motu, Motu, Motu. Nothing happened. That girl called him only one day, one time, and that too with decency and respect. Hey Motu, sunna. And somehow that message went to his subconscious. From that day, that fellow started going to gym, he used to cut down on his food and all. Within 3 months, he became slim and trim. All his life, his parents tried, everybody, he must have also tried. Nothing happened. But one comment by one girl made all the difference in life. Because emotionally at that moment, he must have been so hurt. When you're emotionally very hurt, message goes to your subconscious. When a death happens in the family, emotionally you're wrecked. So what happens is, somebody says, it goes straight to your subconscious at that moment. So this is one way. But of course, you cannot find that girl all the time to come and comment on you so that you change in life. Now, what do? There are auto-suggestion methods. What happens, sometimes you will see logic can also work. Normally logic doesn't work, but sometimes it might work. Logic might work. You go to a doctor and doctor tells you that yesterday, 3 people came and his uncle died because of excess smoking. And that fellow, that friend's brother, he also died of smoking and all that. And somebody reliable is talking like that. Now this fellow is also a smoker. Somewhere this message goes to his subconscious and he will stop smoking. His parents told him to stop smoking. His wife told him to stop smoking. So many people told him, but he never stopped. But 1 minute meeting made all the difference, because that seed went straight to the subconscious. And he decided, no, I will not smoke anymore. You sometimes go to the doctor sees your report, he makes a full body report, and then he tells you, okay, you are going to live only for 2 months because your this fatty liver is this and this is this and this. So he need not tell you regulate your food. He need not tell you. You will do everything on your own, because what happens, he's an authority. Whatever he tells you, straight it goes to your subconscious that moment. And when anything which goes to your subconscious, it becomes magical. It becomes magical. Catherine has come. So that is very powerful. Otherwise, you kept on telling that person many things. He's not going to listen. But one incident, for instance, I'll tell you, some people have certain things which trigger them. There was a person who was allergic to roses. Now, this is very strange. How can you be allergic to roses? Very, very strange. This is something very surprising. So he went to a psychiatrist that I can't go to a party, I can't go to a birthday party, I can't go to most of the places because, whenever I see roses, whenever I get that smell, it upsets me. Very strange, very funny. So then he started investigating what really went wrong. So then he realized that when his father had died, he stayed with his father's dead body for more than 24 hours. And at that time, they kept roses around his father. So whole night he was getting the smell of those roses. So what happened? As a result of that, he associated that smell of rose with death. Started triggering. So whenever he would go, he would see red roses and he would get little smell, he would get upset. He would get headache. Then somehow that psychiatrist was able to remove that from his system. He reprogrammed his system. Because, of course, this is illogical. How can you get upset just by seeing red flowers, red roses, just by getting that smell of roses? Because then he understood it that he's associating that with his dead father. There are many such instances. You will see some children, they are very much scared of darkness. Now that seed has been sown in the childhood. Mother, father, or could be anybody, they might have sown that seed of that if you go in the darkness, so and so will happen. If a child of 3 or 4 years or 5 years, if you tell him that 3-4 times, this might go to his subconscious. And most likely, even if you tell him once at that early age, this would go into his subconscious. And then all his life, he'll be fearful of darkness. No matter how many books you read on darkness, he understands. He's a scientist, he understands the meaning of darkness and all that. But it is not the logical mind which is fearful. Fear doesn't come from the logical mind. Love doesn't come from the logical mind. Emotions don't come from the logical mind. Feelings don't come from the logical mind. And life runs on emotions and feelings. Life doesn't run on logic. So entire logic is in your conscious mind. And all those emotions like anger doesn't reside in your conscious mind. Conscious mind knows it's not good to be angry. Conscious mind knows about it. But then it is helpless. It is the 90% of the mind which overpowers. It overpowers. So we were talking that conscious, the level of consciousness is at your neck, behind the neck, then your conscious mind is very, very powerful, very active at that moment. When you're operating from your subconscious mind, which will seldom happen, it will not happen when you are awake normally, only when you are sleeping, it will happen. So that's why there are people who listen to certain kind of music when they are sleeping, and that works very well. It does that auto suggestion to your mind, to your subconscious mind. So you can reprogram your subconscious mind with certain kind of music if you're playing in the night while sleeping. Even if you're fallen asleep, that music is going and acting upon your subconscious mind. There are many ways. One of the classes last year, with Catherine, we had attended on graphology. That is, handwriting classes. Even through changing your handwriting, you can change your subconscious. Your handwriting is a result of your subconscious. And if you change your handwriting, your subconscious would also change. I used to sign my name in a particular way. So that graphology class which I attended, that lady told me that, Arun, don't sign like this, change your signature. And you wouldn't believe, a lot of things changed in my life after I changed my signature. After a few letters, the way I used to write M, she told me, don't write like this. This impacts your personality. So if you change your handwriting, habituation also has an impact. Every time you drink tea like this, every time you have a habit of, every day when you get up in the morning, you will get up in a particular way, you will go and sit in one particular place. So that habituation is also. So if you change your habituation, that will impact your subconscious mind. If you change your handwriting, that is the easiest way to impact your subconscious mind. Graphology, it's very, very easy, and only 1 month's practice, you can change your whole life only through changing your handwriting. So do try that. Another one is, in the morning when you wake up, you can look yourself in the mirror, stand still, don't move, and make eye-to-eye contact with the mirror. Look into the eyes. And when you straight look into the eyes, try to recognize the person in the mirror. Try to make some affirmative statement in the mirror. That has an impact on your subconscious. See, when you do many things, the cumulative impact will work. Of course, the most powerful is meditation. Meditation is the most powerful way, the easiest way, non-controversial way to reprogram your subconscious. Because when you go into meditation, deep into meditation, and you are an expert meditator, you can reprogram your subconscious. Otherwise, you can take a help of your mentor, your guru, who can help you to reprogram your subconscious. Yoga Nidra is a proven method. Yoga Nidra is a proven method. I met one boy in Bali, that was, I don't remember, maybe 10 years ago. And he was a monk, a young boy, but he was a monk, a Canadian monk. And he was a golfer also. He used to play golf. So last 5 years, he did not play golf. And that day, when I met him, he was very happy. So I said, what happened? So he told me, today I have won a golf match with my friends. So we were betting on beer. And of course, I'm a monk. I don't drink beer. So I said, you all have to treat me good food, vegetarian food, and which they did it. So I said, how did you win the game? You did not play for 5 years and they have been playing every day and you won. He said, no, before playing the game, I meditated for 2 hours to win the game. So that's the power of meditation. He reprogrammed himself. And he told me one more thing, that Arun, every day in meditation, for 10 minutes, I play golf. In my meditation, I play golf. So it's not that I'm out of practice. I'm not out of practice. Every day, 10 minutes, I play golf in my meditation. And that's why I won. Now, that incident played havoc on my mind. That day, I realized the power of meditation. In Singapore, one of the first clients I met was one lady. She used to run a restaurant. I used to write books for her. That was many, many years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago. And one day, in some context, I don't remember, in some context, she told me that, no, I cannot do this. I've been doing this for last so many years and all that. So I said, what do you mean last so many years? How old are you? She said, you guess? I said, maybe you are 40. She said, no, I'm 65. I couldn't believe it. I said, how is it possible that you're 60? She said, yes, I'm 65. I'm not 40. I said, what do you do? She told me that I'm an ex-Olympian. I represented Singapore in Olympics. So then I could understand that, yes, ex-Olympian can always maintain herself so beautifully. But then what she said was even more powerful. She told me, I said, what do you do? What all exercise do you do? Jogging, this, that? She said, no, I don't do anything. I said, still, there must be some way you have maintained yourself so well. You're slim, trim, looking young. She said, every day I meditate, and in meditation, I do Surya Namaskar. In meditation, I do 20 kilometers of jogging. In meditation, I do my swimming. In meditation, so everything she does in meditation. So the monks, those who live in Himalayas, they do everything, but in meditation. So that's the power of meditation. You don't have to go for morning walk. You can do that in your meditation. You don't have to do many things. Everything can be achieved in meditation. The highest pleasure, whatever you derive in anything, can be achieved in meditation. So that's the power. And meditation can change your subconscious. So that lady told me, I don't go for morning walk, I don't do yoga, I don't do exercise, I only meditate. And in meditation, I do all these things. I do everything. Now that was something. And I'm not reading a book. I'm hearing from the first person, a person who's standing right in front of me. It took me for a while, and then I could absorb that. So your subconscious mind can be accessed through meditation, through this mirror technique which I spoke about. There's another technique through which you can access your subconscious mind. Now that is, you apply 3 locks on your body, that is Tribandh. Mool Bandh, Udyan Bandh, and Jalandhar Bandh. You know about these 3 bandhs. Those who are into yoga practice, they know these 3 bandhs. Okay. Now 3 locks. So what you do, you exhale, completely exhale. You become out of breath. Totally, there's no breath, there's no air inside you. So once you're totally throughout the air, you are without any air inside. Then you pull all the veins, everything up below your navel, all those veins, you pull them up, put your stomach inside, and with your chin, you put a lock on your throat. So you do like, so you are you remove all the breath and you apply these three bandhs. So it's called Tribandh. And after doing this, you will be very uncomfortable. You cannot stay for more than 40 seconds, 50 seconds. Some people can even stay for 3 minutes, those who are practicing it daily. And then what you do, once you do this, and then you make a resolution, whatever, I want to lose weight, or I will lose weight. Be more, construct your sentences more positively. Don't use the word, negative word in your, because subconscious mind does not understand difference between reality and fiction. It does not understand about past tense and future tense. It does not understand. Subconscious mind does not understand past tense, future tense, present tense. No. It does. It only understands the core words. So you can say you want to lose weight. You can make a resolution in that way. Do it for few days and you will see the result happening. You will see that. You want to quit smoking, try it that way. You want to quit alcohol, you want to reduce your food, whatever. You want to perform better in your exams, you want to be a better employee, whatever you want to do, you can do it like that. So, one is, we spoke about, let us sum up all the methods, how to access your subconscious. So one is that by giving an excellent logic, some person might accept that logic, and for that moment, whatever you have given that logic, that goes straight to subconscious and the person changes for life. The second is that great authority. If somebody tells you, don't tell a lie, it may not work. But if you meet somebody very powerful, a big VIP, a very powerful monk or saint or somebody, and he tells you, don't tell a lie, it works on you. It will work on you. It will work on you. So if a big authority, if you say, oh, he's the best doctor in India, I tell you, nothing better than him. And if he tells you, don't eat potato, you will listen to him. But if your family doctor tells you, don't eat potato, you won't listen. This might sound very strange, but this is the reality. So if a big authority tells you something and you are in that emotional state, you will accept it. You will accept it. Oh, he told me. No, I will not. I will not eat potato. So you will stop and you won't even question him. Those who are argumentative, those who question, they will never apply. They will never practice. If you just take it on the face value, you will implement it. So one was arguments. Another was if you follow somebody great, big authority. Another is emotions. Sometimes emotionally you are so in sadness, some accident has happened, somebody has died, or something, you're very, very sad, something has happened. At that moment, whatever is spoken to you goes straight to your subconscious. That moment. Then you say, I'll never do it now. I will never do it. Then I told you that hammering. Something when people tell you again and again, same thing is corroborated by 4 or 5 people, then you start, that goes to your subconscious. Now, what happens is, as I told you, every moment there are negative thoughts, there are positive thoughts. We are all human beings. Somebody will have more negative, somebody will have more positive. That's all. That's the only difference between you and me, between anybody and anybody else. Somebody will have more negative thoughts, somebody will have. Normally what happens, a normal person, what he does, he endorses all the negative thoughts and he will doubt all the positive thoughts. This is the normal tendency in human being. I cannot climb 10 floors. So, you are endorsing that. It's a negative thought. You are endorsing it. I can never quit cigarette. All these are negative thoughts and you are endorsing them. You are endorsing them. You are endorsing them. You stop endorsing negative. When a negative thoughts will come to your mind, nobody can stop it. But what you can do is don't endorse them. Being a human being, we will have positive thoughts, we will have negative thoughts. All kinds of thoughts will be coming to you. See, what happens when you go to a restaurant, you order samosa and the waiter serves you, say, idli. Now, what do? You tell the waiter, no, I did not order, take it back. Bring me samosa. He takes it back. Similarly, to your mind, when mind gives you negative ideas, you tell your mind, no, I don't want it. Take it back, get lost. Then he will serve you the right thing. Don't accept. You tell your mind, I did not order for this. I don't want this. Mind will suggest you weaker things, wrong things. You tell him, sorry, get lost. I don't want this. So then he will give you the right ideas. All of us always have some negative thoughts or positive thoughts, but habitually we always endorse negative thoughts. And that is why I can never become a millionaire. Now, this is a negative thought and you endorse that. I can never, walk 20 kilometers. These are negative thoughts. Don't endorse these thoughts. I can never quit cigarette. I can't pass this exam, I tell you. I can't do Surya Namaskar 11 times. These are all negative ideas. Don't endorse these ideas. Don't at all endorse. Don't endorse. Now, mind also gives you positive ideas that you can own this house. No, you endorse it. Yes, you start visualizing, you endorse the idea. Yes, I can own it. So always, support your mind in the positive, with the positive thoughts only. Now that habit also can change your subconscious. If you always endorse positivity and decline negativity, doubt negativity, but what we do, we always doubt positivity. We always doubt. There are other ways which can impact your. One more method is there. You sit straight and put a throat lock, which is called Jalandhar Bandh, and keep your eyes closed and visualize a well in front of you. There's a well just below your, in front of you, there's a well, a deep well. And you, with your imagination, with your creative visualization, you're going inside the well. You're going down, down, down. You keep going below, below, below. And as a result, you will reach to the bottom of the well. Keep going. And when you reach to the bottom of the well, you can make an affirmation. You can make an affirmation. Keep doing it. See, I'm telling you so many methods. You need not practice all the methods. You can apply what suits you. You can apply, you can pick and choose. You can take one or two methods and you can apply that. These are very simple methods. You're sitting alone. You can just put a throat lock. Why do you put a throat lock? Because I told you that your consciousness normally is at the level of throat. So, because your 10% mind resides here. Now, when you put a throat lock, then that consciousness has to go down only, because it cannot go up because you have locked. It cannot go up anymore. There are moments in life when you want your consciousness only to be up. You don't want it to go down. And there are moments in life when you want it to be only down and not to go up. There are two situations in life. So when you want to make a resolution, then put a throat lock, let your consciousness go down from here to here. Let it come to your heart, and then make a resolution. Then make a resolution. Then it will be a powerful resolution, because you're involving your subconscious. Because subconscious resides here at the heart. I told you, at the 4th level, and this is the 5th level. So you live in a building which has 7 levels, and your mind resides on the 5th level, and your subconscious resides on the 4th level. So you take your consciousness to 4th level and then make a resolution. Don't make a resolution when you are at the 5th level. It won't work. Of course, you will become more powerful when your 10% and 90% are in sync. Then you are very powerful. Then whatever you want to achieve, you will be able to achieve. Because thoughts and feelings are in subconscious. Because you must have heard that word gut feeling. Now, gut feeling is nothing but subconscious. We say, this is my gut feeling. That's not the logical mind. It's my intuition. Intuition is what? Your subconscious mind. Intuition is your subconscious mind. Gut feeling is your subconscious mind. But when you say, no, I think means conscious mind. The logical mind. The logical mind has been developed from your college, your school, internet, and all those. And logical mind does not run your life. Logical mind can help you to make money. Logical mind can help you to get first division. Logical mind can help you to do a job. Logical mind can do many other things and good things. But logical mind will not make you happy in life. When you say, I want happiness, now that is not the job of a logical mind. Then it says, sorry, sir, not my department. You go to the proper department. That's the job of subconscious mind. You don't want to get angry. It's not the job of conscious mind. Anger is not controlled by this conscious mind. Conscious mind can know all the theories of how not to get angry, it can learn. But to get angry or not to get angry, conscious mind has no role into it. You are very intelligent, you're very smart, you're very suave, you're very polite, you're everything. But whether you will get angry or not, it does not depend on your mind. It doesn't depend. You are a wonderful person in all that, but still you may get angry. Because anger is not related to your conscious mind. It comes from the subconscious mind. Whether you are a loving person or not, romantic person or not, it comes from the subconscious mind. You don't say, I love you from my mind. You don't say that. I love you from my heart only. So because the love resides in heart, subconscious is in the heart. There are few more ways. Of course, mantra recitation, pranayam. There are certain pranayam which helps you to change your subconscious. Tantra also helps you. There are certain tantric ways to, so that's why people visit tantric, So tantric can do something and it might change, provided you go to the right tantric. Some people also change their subconscious mind by their sheer willpower. Some people have very strong willpower. This is a very unnatural way, but then it works with some people. And it will work more for people who are very innocent. People who are very simple, very innocent. And if they make a willpower, they can change their subconscious mind. They can send a message to their subconscious mind. But people who are very intelligent, very cunning, very smart, for them to change their subconscious is very difficult. Because your logic will prevent you. Your logic will prevent you. There was a doctor in France, and when patients used to go to him, what would he do? He would simply make them lie on a table, on that clinical table, and for 2 to 3 hours, only one thing he would keep saying and make the patient hear. That's all. I am not sick. I am not sick. I am not sick. That's all. So the patient would find it very funny. What the heck is happening? You're charging me a couple of $100 and just to tell me this. I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I'm not sick. Now, what would he do? He makes you lie and he keeps telling you. Okay. So what happens is your conscious mind gets sick and tired of the statement, stops listening. So doctor is repeating the same statement and you're no more concerned, because you say, my God, whom did I give $200 just to hear this? Anyway, then the message starts, your conscious mind rejects, it does not accept. So the message starts going to your subconscious. After a while, subconscious also gets tired. It says, enough, this has been going on for 1 hour, same thing. Now, then it still goes deeper into subconscious. And then it further, after a while, it again goes deeper into subconscious. And at the core of your subconscious, at the center of your subconscious, when that message reaches, I am not sick. And that subconscious accepts that you are no more sick after that. We all understand psychosomatic disease. Disease happens first in your mind, and then it comes to your body. So if you remove it from the mind, the disease won't come to your body. The seed is in the mind. Sickness is in the body. So you remove the seed from there. You plant another seed. The mango which you planted were not of good variety. Remove that. Plant a new seed. Better varieties mango will grow there. Same thing you do with your subconscious mind. It has got wrong seeds inside. It has got seeds like, I cannot do Surya Namaskar 11 times. That seed, you remove that seed. You put a new seed, I can do 51 times. Remove that seed of 11 times, put 51 times, then you can do 51 times. It is your subconscious which drives your life. Whatever we are doing by way of learning, by way of reading books, by way of schools, colleges, whatever, we are only enriching our conscious mind. And through conscious mind, we think life will change. No, it will not change at all. It will not. Enriching your conscious mind is a deception. It will only help you in worldly matters. It will help you in making money. It will help you in interviews. Your conscious mind will help you in many other things. In writing a beautiful book, all those it will help you. But it won't help you to drive your life beautifully. When you align your conscious mind and subconscious, which is 90%, when both are aligned, when both have the same thoughts, then you become very powerful. You become unstoppable. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve.